Aacharyopasanam. So literally it means meditating on the teacher. That's a literal meaning of it. But we have to see the context of Bhagavad Gita. The context is spiritual knowledge. For spiritual knowledge, a teacher is needed. It is a must in our Shastra. One cannot discover the truth, it is said, just by reading a book, Upanishad, picking up an Upanishad and reading it. It is not, the truth is not going to hit that person. It has to be revealed. There's a methodology to the revelation of the knowledge, and it has come traditionally for thousands of years. So the medium, the conduit of revelation is worshipped in the scriptures. That is in our Vedic culture, it's in Indian culture as well, it is in the society. Nowadays, much less, because it's become very secular everywhere. And that's also fine. So we can translate things to the time, place, and situation as well. So Aacharyopasanam was a value in those days of Gita times. It was a great value because even the Kauravas had an Acharya. The Pandavas had an Acharya. They would all have, if you see even the Ramayana in those days, all the kingly families would have an advisor who was a guru. Like Vashishta was advisor for Dasaratha, right? So Vashishta, that family, he was advisor for. Even the gods, if you see, who is the advisor for the gods? The guru of the gods was Brihaspati, or we say Jupiter. Okay, Brihaspati was the advisor of the god. Not just the god, the asuras, the people who were given to all pleasures and also wrong actions at times, they also had an advisor. His name was Shukracharya. So even the gods and demons had their gurus. So we can see in India also there's demons and there's gods everywhere. They all have their gurus that they go to for certain things. So this value is mainly in this present context. We have to see the respect for the teacher is more for people in spiritual life. It is culturally also applicable. It's very difficult for, again, for people in the West because this more equality and all of that is encouraged. But there's a reason why the scriptures say this for spiritual knowledge. Because in many of the Upanishads, and Chandogya Upanishad especially, there is one saying, Acharyavan Purusho Veda, the one who has a teacher will definitely come to see God, will definitely come to have the vision of Ishvara, will know the Lord. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. So this Acharya is a beautiful word. We have to understand it because anyone becomes an Acharya then. It is not just one person. Anyone becomes an Acharya. If you understand the meaning of Acharya, it is Swayam Acharati and Anyan Acharayati. So Swayam Acharati means he walks the talk. Whatever he says, whatever comes out of his mouth, he practices himself. That is an Acharya. Swayam Acharati iti Acharya, the one who walks his talk. He lives a life of integrity and values and of compassion. Compassion is a sign of knowledge. When somebody manifests compassion, it is a sign of knowledge because a person who has imbibed the teachings of Vedanta, who has imbibed spiritual teachings, cannot be an angry, hateful, jealous type personality. There must be some growth, and that is seen with living. In those days, they used to live Gurukula Vasa, live with the teacher for a length of time. Generally, a 12-year period of their prime youth was given to living with the teacher and imbibing this Vedic knowledge. It was a very beautiful system there. The parents were actually, they let go of their kids to go to the Gurukulam and study all the Vedas, the Vedangas, and then this child would come back with all that knowledge ready for marriage. So it is actually the guru, after a certain time, till about age 10, the parents were responsible for the child. After that, the guru became responsible for the child. The guru took over the education, took over the care of the child. So this Swayam Acharati, Anyan Acharayati, Anyan Acharayati is also helps others also to live a life of values. Not just he or she lived the life of values, helps all others also to live a life of values. And how? Not just preaching, but actually practicing. The actions speak louder than words, right? A very beautiful saying. It is definitely true in our Vedanta as well. actions definitely speak louder than words. If an acharya preaches one thing or teaches one thing and then behaves something totally different, takes a lesson on Vedanta, then, next minute after the class goes outside, smokes a cigarette, and this type of acharya we don't want to follow. Don't worry, I don't smoke, but this behavior, this opposite behavior we do see. There are people who don't practice also what is taught, and that is out of some inner pressure. Nothing wrong with that. There is some inner pressure for that, but this is the real meaning of acharya. Anyana acharayati, one who shows through the behavior how you should also live your life, and for your sake, not for their sake. It is for the student's sake that is the value. So another way of looking at this value in the present context, in the Western context, is that even if you look at your childhood, where did you do best in your subjects? It is, you always learn from sources that you respect. If you look in your childhood, the subjects that you do well in, the teacher is an excellent teacher. The teacher you bonded with, the teacher you linked with, the teacher can inspire a student to excel in any subject. It doesn't even matter if it's spiritual knowledge or any other knowledge of any other subject, but the teacher becomes very important to a child, especially a child looks forward to going to that particular class. Why? Because they love that teacher. And in love and respect, what happens? Learning happens. When you love something, when you respect something, and the teacher commands respect, they will inspire the students to also study that subject. That inspiration, this idea comes in our scriptures as well. If the bond with the teacher is developed, if a connection with the teaching is developed, then definitely the teaching, the Vedanta, will become something very, very important in one's life that one wants to learn more. So in the modern context also, the respect for the teacher is developed, the connection for this reason. It is not for the teacher's sake. Again, we have to be very clear here. Teacher does not need respect. Teacher does not need anything. A real teacher does not need anything from anyone. It is for the sake of the student that all of this is being said in the Shastra. There are other sayings as well. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. The one with the belief, the one with faith is the one who is going to gain the truth. We find this strewn across all the Upanishads, all the scriptures. The same idea comes again and again. Because when your mind is captured by somebody, when your mind is captured by the words that somebody is communicating, it'll be absorbed in your life and you will see life changing for you. All you need to do, Shastra says, is come and sit in the class, just suspend your notions that you have in your mind, be free, be open. And these words have a magic, they work magic, they transform people's lives through cognitive change. This is how our teaching works actually, because Vedanta is a unique subject. It is called Shabda Pramana, which is, we saw that word Pramana, it's a means of knowledge through communication, through words. And it's interesting in the Bhagavad Gita also, until I think the second chapter, Krishna was not considered a teacher for Arjuna. You won't believe. He was a therapist for Arjuna for the first chapter. He was a therapist. He was listening to all of those verses. He never said a word. Listening, we've seen that whoever attends Gita class, how much moaning and groaning Arjuna went through in the first chapter, right? Okay, releasing all the emotions, releasing all his pain. Bhagavan very, very patiently just listened. There was no teaching happening there. He was just like an unpaid psychologist. He had to just listen to the patient, vomit everything out, right? And he was patient, he listened, but there comes a verse, there's a key change verse in the second chapter where Arjuna is so helpless and he says, Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. I surrender to you, O Lord. I have nothing more. I have nothing more, no other source of, way to go. Shishyasteham shadimam prapannam, which means you are my teacher. I am your shishya. He actually asks Krishna to become his teacher. Shishyasteham, take me as your disciple. This is the moment there's a key change. And this is where I think Krishna must have had a twinkle in his eye, because he said, I was waiting for this moment. I didn't push myself. I didn't push the teaching on you. I was waiting for you to come and surrender to me like this. And he was down on his knees. And we've seen pictures. There are many pictures of this scene where Arjuna's on his knees and he's looking up to Bhagavan and he's saying, Shishyaste ham shahadi mam tvam prapannam. I cannot live my life in control of my life the way I'm doing. I need some guidance. I need help. And that is where Bhagavan starts teaching. And a very beautiful scene there. And in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, again, Bhagavan tells Arjuna how to get this knowledge. Even there, it's revealed the importance of Acharya, teacher, that vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninastattva darshinaha. So tat vidhi pranipatena. So in order to know the truth, in order to know that spiritual knowledge, to have that knowledge, you approach a teacher. How do you approach a teacher? That's what it says here. Pariprashnena, asking the question at the right time. Not just, as you're walking along the road with the teacher, hey, Krishna, can you tell me this, answer to this? That type of attitude is not there. So the right time, right doubt, thinking about it, after thinking about it for a while, if there's something unclear. So pariprashna is a very beautiful word to say. Ask the teacher, but ask at the right time and right place as well. And sevaya. So this is a very, very important, again, culturally important thing. Sevaya, through service to the teacher. And how, you see, the teacher also should not be one who manipulates the students and gets free labor from them as well. A teacher, the one who should be served, in fact, Shastra says, is the one who is not in need of service. So if the teacher who is not in need of service should be the one who receives the service. I remember my Acharya, in the Gurukulam. It's very funny because, in the Gurukulam lifestyle, every teacher wants, because they know this verse. So they know that knowledge is, if they get close to the Guru, they get close to the teacher, they do seva for the teacher, then there's more chance of getting chances to hear a Vedanta, to get your questions answered. So everybody wanted to do seva for the teacher, right? So the teachers, of course, are very compassionate in our ashram. So our Acharya was very compassionate. So because everybody wanted to do, we could not all do the service, right? So I remember a few times when I was asking Swamiji some questions on Vedanta, every 5 minutes somebody would walk in and make Swamiji's bed first thing in the morning. Already it was made at 5 in the morning, it was already made. But the students, because they wanted to do service, they would come and make the bed. And Swamiji sometimes used to even ruffle the bed so he could give the next student the chance to make the bed again. So this is the type of compassion. So everybody got a chance to serve. That is the attitude that the students have in the Gurukulam. And that is what the Sevaya, what does it do? It first of all shows a sign of humility on the part of the student, that the student feels, yes, there is a person who knows more than I do. There is a person from whom I can gain this knowledge. And for that knowledge, what can I give? I cannot give anything. I'm living in an ashram. I have no money. I have no source of income. What can I do? I can serve. I can take care of the Gurukulam. I can give my skills or offer my talents in some way. So this is a form of contribution, not contribution to just one person. It's a contribution to a tradition. That is very important. And through this contribution to that particular tradition of teaching, then what happens? The verse says, Upadekshanti te jnanam. These people will start teaching you because you invoke the teaching. Through such humility and this attitude that you have, Upadekshanti te jnanam. These people will want to teach you. Who are these people? Jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. The people who have understood the vision of the Shastra, who lived that Acharya life that we just saw, and those are the people who will start teaching. So this whole value, very important to discover the teacher in a person. We should avoid looking at the personality. That's important, because the personality is not what is important. Personality comes and goes. Personalities we saw are like costumes. They come, they change all the time. So everybody's personality changes, or it's subject to change. It is the teaching that counts. When the teaching is understood, you discover the teacher in a person. The teacher is discovered in that person. And what happens with that discovery? Knowledge happens in the student's mind. All of the Upanishads are based on this particular methodology of dialogue. There is not one place where there's no dialogue. Even Bhagavad Gita, there's dialogue. You cannot just stumble across jnanam. You cannot just stumble across self-knowledge. It is a form of dialogue between teacher and student. There needs to be a chance for the student to clear doubts. There needs to be a chance for the student to ask questions, and this is very clear in the tradition. It comes thousands of years, this particular way of doing things. So when you discover, when you discover the spiritual truth, when you want to discover spiritual truth, the guru, the teacher is essential. And many people, there's some people who say you can find the guru within you. Well, we don't believe in that. There is a guru within us, but first you find the guru outside. The outside guru will help you find the guru within. You cannot immediately find the guru within you. And people who cannot accept a teacher, Shastra also talks about that. When there's a problem with trying to accept a teacher because of authority problem, it goes as far as to say in psychology terms that there has been problem with authority with a father figure in your past as a child, because it's very difficult for some people to accept any kind of authority. But when you understand that the guru is the key to understanding the Shastra, explaining the instructions that are given in the scriptures, then you find the value. It is just like, actually, I think many of you must have had the experience. Suppose you're driving in the car and you lose your direction, you're lost totally, and you're in a new place, you don't know where to go, you're totally lost, and somebody is walking down the road and they look like they're locals, they look like they know where they're going. So you just roll down your window and you say, can you tell me the direction to this and this place? And they'd say, you go straight, you turn right, you take a left, they give you the directions. Do you doubt that person? You don't doubt. You don't look at them and say, are you really telling me the truth? Are you really telling me the truth? Unless you go the direction that they've said, you won't know whether they're lying or not. Of course, there are some people who guide you in the wrong direction. I've noticed that, again, I have to say, my years in India taught me a lot, because in India, they cannot tell you no, they cannot tell you, I don't know. So they will always say some answer. A lot of the time it is the wrong direction, okay? They will pretend they know because they cannot say. There's something about the culture. They find it very difficult to say, sorry, we don't know where the place is. We don't know they say, no, oh, go straight. Sida jao, and then left and everything. And you'll end up in some other place that you never thought, you're more lost than ever. So you can get teachers like that who may guide you. So you have to be very careful as well with the teacher you pick. But once the trust is there, it is just an example, okay? So when the trust is there, you generally believe somebody who's guiding you in the right direction. So all of this is, again, said in the Shastra for your own sake. There's another verse, very beautiful verse in the Mundaka Upanishad, and it says, Parikshya lokan karmachitan nirvedamayad brahmanahar nastya krita kritena. So you go to a guru. How do you go? Samit panihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam, with twigs in hand. In those days, the twigs in hand signified humility. You go to a teacher with humility. Why? Because you want to learn, you want to study, you want to know Brahma Vidya. And so the actual definition of guru given in Vedanta Shastra is Mahavakya Upadesha Karta. That is actually definition of guru. Mahavakya Upadesha Karta. What are these Mahavakyas? Great sayings. Mahavakya means great sayings. What are these great sayings? Great saying means the sayings that reveal the oneness of you and everything else. The sayings that reveal, like Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, all of these sayings which come in the Upanishads, they reveal the oneness of you with Ishvara, with the Lord, and with everybody else, and with everything else. And Upadesha Karta, the one who teaches you to see the vision of these sayings, is actually a guru. So a guru is not somebody who one sticks to for life. A guru is one who removes the ignorance from your eyes. In the Guru Stotram, very beautiful line, Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasme Shri Gurave Namaha. So it means Ajnana Timiranda, the cataract of ignorance is there in the eye, the cataract of ignorance. The guru is one who applies the collyrium, the kajal of knowledge to your eyes and opens your eyes. Chakshurun unmilitan yena. Tasme Shri, the one who opens your eyes to the truth of yourself, who makes yourself see yourself as one being that doesn't lack, the being which is the meaning of satisfaction. That is a real teacher, because you should go satisfied. In the tradition, everybody should become their own gurus. That is the idea. So Vedanta is a means of knowledge, but it has to be understood through a medium of a teacher. That is what this value says. So it becomes Aacharyopasanam becomes a value. Aacharyopasanam means more than anything, not meditating on the teacher, but having a respectful attitude to the teaching and the teacher, and with certain, with the certain things that one has to follow. So how do you find an authentic guru? This is also a very, very difficult thing. How do you judge? Only it takes a length of time to develop relationship with anyone properly. So you cannot immediately find a guru like that. You have to see through the teachings, whether the teachings connect to you. Swami Dayananda jokingly used to say, the best way to find the guru is measure the length of his beard. The longer the beard, the better the guru. So that was a joke, right? So don't have to find but this is, when people look the part, then there's more attraction towards such people as well. But it is not the outward look, it is the teaching again that connects the student. If the teaching works for you in your life, then you can bet on that person who is communicating. So this is the way to find your teacher in life. And more than that, who is the main teacher in the life? That is also discussed in the Shastra. Matra Devo Bhava, Pitra Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atiti Devo Bhava. In the first notch, the mother is kept. Mother is the first guru, actually, for all. It is not Acharya comes third in line, actually. It is the mother that forms the mind first. Then comes the father. Then only Acharya. And Devo. Then Bhagavan comes after Acharya even, because Acharya is the one who shows you Bhagavan. So this is another beautiful saying that comes in Taittiriya Upanishad to show that we don't only have one teacher in our life. We have so many teachers.